Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're bringing you a special edition from Forge College, diving right back into our series on building dApps on Solana. Specifically, we're looking at profiling and optimizing integration performance. Now, if you hung out with us for the previous lesson on designing reliable cross-contract calls, you know we've built some pretty robust systems by now. But here's the thing, robust doesn't automatically mean fast. Sometimes it just means stubbornly slow. And today, well, today we fix that.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with the performance investigation, break down latency versus throughput, and then crack open your profiling toolkit. After that, we'll identify bottlenecks, move on to optimization and batching, and wrap the whole thing up with the final debug report.
Section 1. The Performance Investigation. Becoming a Performance Detective. Grab your magnifying glass, because we are officially hunting down the hidden bottlenecks that are dragging our integration adapter through the mud.
Section 2. Latency versus throughput. The factory assembly line. To really get a grip on our metrics, we need to take a quick metaphorical trip to the factory.
So what's really fascinating about these two concepts is how completely distinct they are. Think of latency as the speed of just one single item moving down our conveyor belt. It's literally how long one request takes from start to finish. And we care deeply about the P95 and P99 metrics here, meaning we want to know just how agonizingly slow the worst 1 to 5% of our requests actually are. Throughput, on the flip side, is volume over time. It's how many finished, boxed-up items are falling off the end of that conveyor belt every single second. In Web3, that's our requests per second, or RPS. Look, you can have a lightning-fast conveyor belt, but if it only holds one item at a time, your throughput is terrible. We absolutely need both to scale.
Moving right along to Section 3, your profiling toolkit, the detective's magnifying glass. Let's look at the actual software we're going to use for this investigation.
All right, these are our primary interrogation tools. First up, we've got autocannon, and as the name implies, it is not subtle at all. We use it to simulate an absolute flood of traffic. Think of a massive burst of marketplace webhooks hitting our adapter all at the exact same time. Next is Clinic.js. While autocannon is hammering on the front door, Clinic.js is quietly inside checking the code's pulse. It captures CPU usage and event loop profiling so we can see exactly where the system starts sweating. Finally, prom-client gives us these beautiful runtime metrics and duration histograms to calculate our latency. So if autocannon is the bad cop, prom-client is definitely the good cop.
To use this toolkit effectively, we follow a strict, 5-step, highly reproducible scientific workflow. Step 1, baseline. We fire up autocannon and get our starting numbers. Step 2, profile. We run Clinic.js right in the middle of that load test. Step 3, identify. We dig into the data and spot the actual measurable bottlenecks. Step 4, optimize. We apply smart, conservative fixes to the code. And Step 5, remeasure. We run the exact same tests again to see if we actually made things better. It's a beautifully methodical loop, and it works every single time.
Section 4. Identifying the bottlenecks. Spotting the traffic jams.
Our absolute best tool for finding these traffic jams is a little something called a flamegraph. Generated by Clinic.js, a flamegraph is basically a visual heat map of your function calls, and this brilliantly illustrates exactly where your CPU is spending its time. When you pull it up, wide, towering blocks expose the specific functions eating up your processing power. If you spot a massive block for a simple validation function, well, you instantly know your app is working way too hard for no good reason.
But the most dangerous thing you'll ever spot on a flame graph? Event loop blocking. Remember, in Node.js, your application runs on a single thread, the event loop. If you write a slow, synchronous piece of code, it acts exactly like a massive, slow-moving truck breaking down right in the middle of our factory assembly line. Suddenly, the whole shebang comes to a screeching halt. Literally, no other request can be processed until that broken-down truck is cleared out of the way. Which brings us to Section 5, optimization and batching, upgrading the machinery. This step-by-step analytical approach to problem solving is actually a huge part of how we approach learning across all our programs at Forge College.
So let's see how this builds into our first major fix, batching. This is the act of grouping multiple items, say 10 marketplace listings, into a single concurrent payload. By tweaking our adapter to accept an array of listings all at once, we can process them concurrently using asynchronous operations. This saves a massive amount of connection setup time and completely stops us from paying the overhead toll for every single individual HTTP request.
And that brings us to a golden rule in performance engineering. You have to separate per request overhead from per item work. What this really boils down to is that external costs, things like HTTP routing, middleware processing, or just setting up a connection, should happen once per batch, not once per individual item. Think about it. If you have 10 cars going down a highway, you don't make them stop and pay the toll booth fee 10 separate times, right? Pay it once for the convoy and let all the items flow through.
Now, batching isn't our only tool. Here are a few other conservative optimizations that act as absolute quick wins for us. First up, connection pooling. We want to reuse long-lived HTTP or RPC clients instead of tearing down and building a brand new connection for every single request. Second, batched inserts. Combine your database writes into a single transaction to cut down on round trips. And third, compiled validators. Just compile your JSON schemas once at startup and reuse them, rather than doing it over and over on every incoming payload. All of these tweaks are amazing at freeing up the event loop without having to rewrite your core business logic.
Once you've applied these fixes, you fire up autocannon again, and honestly, the results should speak for themselves. When you compare your baseline requests per second to the new optimized numbers, things like batching and connection pooling should push that throughput exponentially higher. If you've done it right, you'll be rocketing right past your target metrics.
Finally, Section 6, the final debug report, documenting the evidence.
So the crucial point here is that you have to deliver a comprehensive recipe of your wins. Your debug report needs to contain the exact commands you ran, their purpose, and the saved artifact files. Reviewers need to be able to copy your autocannon commands, run your Clinic.js profiles, and validate your performance gains for themselves. This is all about reproducible science, guys. You want to lay everything out so clearly that literally anyone can follow your logic and get the same result.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a somewhat provocative thought. Are your optimizations actually moving the needle, or are you just shifting the bottleneck to a new part of the factory? Remember, performance tuning is a continuous journey. You clear out one traffic jam, and the cars just speed up until they hit the next bottleneck down the road. Always measure, always profile, and always question your results. A huge thank you for joining me on the explainer today. Make sure to visit forge.college to learn more about this subject, dive deeper into Solana marketplace integrations, and check out all our other Web3 related programs. Keep optimizing, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.